Hi guys, Victor from Tech Heads here. Before we get started today, I would like to announce once again that our Patreon is officially live, but this time with some extra features. When you sign up, you officially become a producer of the show. This means that you will get access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content such as our extensive show notes. On top of this, you will also have access to the episodes 4 days earlier than everybody else. If this sounds good to you, feel free to check it out at patreon.com/techheads.
4, 3,
Now
2,
on with the show.
1. So, here we go.
How you all feel tonight?
Recording. Okay. Clap on 3. 1, 2, 3, clap. Good. Now we're all synced up. Very good. Very good.
It was a soap opera slap, that one.
Gerald, how dare you?
Oh my gosh, the other day I watched a soap opera because my mom was here because
Which
they were doing
one?
some work. I don't even know. It's like one of the ones
Days
that
of Our Lives.
Probably, yeah. So I just turned the TV on, in the living room. So while she was here and I was in the office getting some work done. But geez, it's the same tragic stories over and over again. Just a slight twist, but they're
Right.
so dramatic. It's ridiculous.
Listen, you just don't get it, Anna. That's some deep art.
I know they've had like the same actors playing the same characters for 30 years.
Yeah, I used to watch. I mean, I wouldn't turn it on and watch it, but if I went to my grandma's house, it was always on.
Yeah.
And she had this that game where it's like a long string and the hook, and you try to throw the hook and it lands on or it's a ring, and then you try to land it on the hook. She had that in her house, and it was really fun. So I would always play with it, and the TV was right below the hook, so I would just watch Days of Our Lives while I try to get the ring on the hook. So that was always a good time growing up.
Yeah.
That's probably the pinnacle of my childhood.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
Not a child anymore, though. I did some adulting today. First of all, I cleaned, and then I took my dog to the vet, and
Ooh.
yeah, he just got shots and stuff, nothing bad. He just got his new
nice.
rabies shot, so now he's all boosted and whatnot. Whatever the dog equivalent of being boosted is, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So he did that, and then let's see. I mean, it's just weird that adulting, it's weird to say that I do that because I still feel like I'm in school and I'm a child. I don't know. It's a weird thought. Sometimes I feel like I am getting really old really fast because it still has barely hit me that I'm quote unquote an adult and pay bills and stuff.
Yeah.
But it really hit me today when I was doing some research for the show today. I got an ad for the LG Cord Zero vacuum, and I was like, why does this excite me? It wasn't an ad for a video game. It wasn't an ad for a concert. It was a vacuum cleaner that I got an ad for, and I almost impulsively purchased it. So
Damn.
I think that's the scariest part, was that I wasn't mad about the ad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Next week, I'm probably going to get an ad for the retirement home of my dreams. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, you're way far off from that. But it's
Right.
funny how our interests change, as you age, because you start to care about different things. And yeah, I can totally relate to that, especially after I got my own place. You really start to care about very different things, because you want the place to be clean, and you want things a certain way. And I mean, I feel like once you still live with family, they you just have things, and I feel like you take it for granted because you never thought that you would ever have to buy that when you get your own place. I mean, that happened to me. When I got my apartment with Sam, she had a bunch of stuff because she lived with roommates, and then she brought a lot of her stuff over, but still, things that I didn't even think that we would have to buy, just
Right.
for the kitchen or for the bathrooms and stuff. So, it's interesting how things change. Yeah.
It is, yeah. I mean, I was just talking to this this friend of ours about trash cans and how. So, you can see, Anna, I have this trash can right here.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest things I've ever bought in my life. It has it's huge. It looks really small because it's really skinny, but it holds like the main trash in the front, and then there's a recycling component in the back. And I got it a few months ago, and every time I open it to throw something away or recycle, it brings me so much joy, and I don't know how to explain it. So that's the thing. You don't really think about buying those things until you get your own place. Exactly. But I guess I am still a kid in this regard, though, and maybe a lot of people are too. You know Wordle, right? Have you heard of the game Wordle?
Yeah,
Like
I haven't played it, but I've heard. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, you should. It's fun. I mean, it's whatever. I've played a few times, and it's something. I don't know, but this has started a whole revolution of those sorts of games. So there's Wordle, obviously, that's like the OG, and now there's Worldle, which is where it shows every day. It's a picture of a map, or just it's like the map of a country without any of the surrounding countries around it, and it's just white. And you have to guess what the country is, and you get like 6 guesses, and that's like Worldle, but you know. Yeah,
play on words.
It's cute. Like they'll do Tanzania or Congo or Guam, like just like, you know, pretty obscure places that are kind of hard to identify at first, but it's cool if you're really into geography, which I like geography a lot. I mean, I like playing, what's that game?
GeoGuessr? Oh my God, that game is so fun.
So fun. There's also another one that's new called Hurdle, which I really, really, really like.
Yeah.
This one is centered around music, so it'll pick a new song every day. You don't know what the song is. It'll play the first second of it, and if you don't know the song within that second, you can listen back as many times as you want for the first second. But then if you don't know, you can hit skip, and then it'll play the first 3 seconds. And then if you still don't know, it'll play the first like 5 seconds, and it goes on a few more times. And then if you just don't guess it, then you don't win. But the whole point is to guess what that song is based off of just the few seconds at the beginning of the song, and that's fun when you know this song.
I think I watched someone on YouTube play that game, and I knew. I think that would be a fun one for Sam and I to play. I mean, she's a huge movie buff. Like, she knows everything. We play this game that we made up, which is like what is it? 6 degrees of separation with like actors. So I tell her, let's say Natalie Portman and I don't know, just like anybody else. Jesse Eisenberg, you know, the guy who played Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook. What was that name? I forgot. Social Network. So so she has like
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, she has a couple of like she tries to go through and find out who what movies they have been in, or you know, series or anything, until it gets to the other person, and she's really good at it. But I think with the music, I might know it well too. So we might have to give it a shot. That sounds like a fun one.
Yeah, I think it's just hurdle.app. It's really simple to find. The Worldle one is a pretty weird URL. I'll try to find it again and put it below. But that's been really fun. I feel like you could make your own version of this with that. It would be like, I don't know, Myrtle, like for a movie, like Myrtle. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, that'd be fun. You know, actually, that even like gives me an idea of something to maybe use, like IMDb API, or I don't even know if the IMDb API is free. I know the OMDB, because that was like another one that they have out there. That would be such a cool little game to like, you know, develop with Python or something, just to play like on the terminal or whatever. But yeah, I haven't played it. What an idea.
I love it.
Just came to me. I think this would be fun. I'm definitely going to check out the song one, because that sounds really fun. I mean, I'm always listening to new stuff, you know. I have yet to check out the links that you sent me with what is
Grimes.
Oh my God, Grimes. Yeah. How did you know? Grimes music. Yeah, I have to check her out, because I've been listening to, I mean, it really depends. Like every week I try to listen to new stuff, but I found a really cool guy that does, you know, live streams of like kind of eclectic EDM music. And I've been listening to some of his streams. I was listening to some like chill, pop music while working this week. And yeah, so I just try to vary. So I have to check out her stuff because you recommended it. So I wanna see if I like it too.
I wouldn't throw it on while you're working, but there's a time and a place for Grimes, I would say.
Yeah.
There's very few places and times I think that exist for Grimes, but the two songs I sent to you, those are personally my favorite from her. I've tried to listen to a few more. I haven't given her enough chances, I feel like, so I should go back and try to listen to a couple more albums all the way through.
Right.
That's the hardest thing to do nowadays. I think I've noticed that. Like obviously with streaming, when an artist like comes out with new music, unless you're like a diehard fan, you probably won't listen to the whole album. You might listen to like their new single, or if they put out a small EP with 4 songs, that's usually more digestible. But a whole album is like, I mean, I'm sure even for like actual musicians and artists out there, they're probably like, oh, come on, like this is going to take forever. Yeah, it's tough. So I get it. But I'm trying to be a lot better when people I at least generally are aware of, or like if they release new music, I do try to just sit down or like, put it on while I'm making coffee or whatever and just like try to go through the whole album. Like right now, like Jack White, he just put out a new album and I'm not even like a super big fan of his at all. I like a few of his songs, and obviously White Stripes are awesome. I've seen Jack White live before. He was great. But like I can only list a few songs, honestly. But he put out a new album, and right now I'm just trying to go through the whole thing, be like, okay, like I have to appreciate like what is he doing? Because I know he's done a lot of brilliant work through the pandemic on this album. So because I guess he did it mostly alone, since he didn't have the luxury. I mean, he could afford a band, obviously, but the luxury of like safely having a band in the room to record. So he basically did the whole album by himself. So like I'm trying to understand that and see how he kind of played like with tiny little intricate novelty sounds that he likes to do. So working through that right now. But yeah, it's hard, isn't it? To like even when your favorite artist comes out, you're like, oh, new album, cool. And then you like see that it is ready for you to listen to. You're like, ooh, that's a lot. I don't know if I'll ever have time.
Yeah, no, I totally feel that. I think I've been, like you said, I also prefer to go through, if I really like a band, let's say Coldplay. Oh my gosh, by the way, we're seeing Coldplay in like 2 months. I totally forgot about it. Totally forgot.
In Orlando?
In Tampa. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, Sam got us. Yeah, she got us tickets to go see them because apparently it's like I don't think it's gonna be their last tour, but they said that they're going to like break up, or this is gonna be like in the next couple of years they're gonna be doing their own thing. So she got it for Christmas for me, and I'm so excited to go. I totally just remembered that because I think we're talking about music, but like for instance, they would be a band that I would listen to the whole album, and then kind of be like, oh, I really like this song or that one. But there are a few artists that I do listen to the whole thing. I mean, Tame Impala, I remember when you told me that his new album came out like a couple of years ago. I don't even know if he has another one after that, but I did listen to the whole thing. So there are a few artists that I will really put in the time and I'll, check out their new stuff. But others that I'm just like, oh, I like this song or another. But I think that what happens is sometimes I find playlists on Spotify, that are like let's say like Tame Impala radio. So you get to listen to other artists that are kind of like in the same genre or same style of music. And then that's how I find about, other artists that I've never heard about. I feel like that's why I really love Spotify, is because I've found out about so many other bands or artists that I would never know, just by, I don't know, like natively searching on Google or YouTube or something like that. So, yeah, I think I don't even have like a particular taste in music. It really depends on my mood. I will listen to anything. I swear, I will listen to anything.
Yeah. When Tame Impala's new album came out, that was like that was, I think, one of like the few times I was like, okay, time to sit down, because I stayed up late for it to premiere, because on the East Coast it came out at midnight. So I stayed up late and I was like, okay, I'm getting ready for it to drop. So then I stayed up and listened to the whole thing back to front a couple times. And after that, I was like, I should do this a lot more. And especially now that I'm on the West Coast, they drop at 9 p.m. So if there is an artist that I'm particularly excited about, then I could totally stay up till 9 and listen to an album. But even if I don't, make it to that, or if I forget, it's just great to put something on in the morning. Usually I'll put on a podcast and listen to a podcast while I'm working, but I'm trying to get a little more back into music, because I haven't been listening to too much music lately, except for like the house sort of stuff that I've been trying to do with my DJ controller. I'll like throw those on while I'm cooking, but I don't know, just haven't explored like the people I used to listen to. So I'm trying to get back into that. Yeah, that's been my latest mission.
Yeah, same. I feel like it's cool to like mix things up, I mean, there are some albums or songs even, that are classics, and it's always good to go back to it and listen to it, but I like to, learn about new styles of music. I mean, if you compare, like, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, I had Spotify playing in the living room, and I put on one of the 80s playlists, and everything is just so different. I guess, like the sound, not just the sound quality, because it still sounds really good. Obviously, they did work on it, to put on the platform, so it sounds clearer. But still, if you compare it to, the music that is more recent, to like the sound effects and, just things that it sounds, there's like a lot of electronic elements that I guess music didn't have as much back in the day. But for me, there's really, not a specific, time to listen to anything. I love 80s or 70s music. I really like, I grew up listening to Elvis, because my dad is a big fan of Elvis. Elton John, Phil Collins, like all those guys, Dire Straits. I love Dire Straits. I could listen to that. What is the name of that album again? Sultans of Swing, or is that just the song? Yeah, that album.
I don't remember. I know obviously the song, but I don't remember if that album was also called that. I don't remember. I feel like I should know that too. I saw them live. Well, not them, but Mark Knopfler, the lead dude. I saw him live a few years ago, and obviously they played the majority of that one. So, that was
Brothers in Arms is the name.
Yeah. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah,
it's so good. I love that album.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I feel like, and then I think when I was in my early teens, I found out about electronic music, and I still have, like a big passion for it. I love listening to that. Usually like when I'm coding, I try to pick something that has like that, EDM or electronic music feel. It depends on what it is that I'm working on. But if I'm like really focused, I can throw that on and listen to it for like 3 hours, and just, I feel like it's just so inducive of creativity for some reason, because it's like upbeat, but also focused, because sometimes it's not a lot of talking or a lot of singing. So but yeah, like I said, I will listen to anything. It really depends on like the day, the mood, or whatever it is that I'm doing. But yeah. Good talk about music. Cool.
Yeah. Music heads. Here we are.
I know.
Well, I want to jump into this first article that I found today. So, no surprise, it's related to Apple. We like to talk about technology, obviously tech heads, but in particular, we love discussing Apple, whether it's the good or the bad. Who knows what it is, but this one's a mixture. This one's more of like a goof up, but then also something to be excited about. So, I guess Apple accidentally threw up this like support document on the live Apple website for this Apple 35-watt dual USB-C port power adapter. And the people from 9to5 Mac basically they caught it, they were like, oh, why did they do that? That's crazy. Like, that's not a product yet. So then Apple took it down, but 9 to 5 Mac was able to grab a screenshot of it. Ooh. And this just shows like, oh, they're going to come out with the dual port USB-C charger, basically. So I'm pretty sure the current one is 30 watts and it's only one port.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys are like looking to buy a new adapter, like one of those big ass cubes from Apple to charge whatever you're trying to charge, most likely it's going to be your MacBook. Don't do that because they're releasing the dual port one and it's 35 watts. So yeah, that was they got caught red-handed, honestly.
Nice. Well, someone is getting fired. No.
I feel kind of bad. Yeah, I wonder if somebody's getting fired. I would imagine maybe. It's interesting though, because like if they didn't get caught, would they still get fired? Like they're only going to get fired if they get caught in that situation, I feel like. So it's it's interesting. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I don't even know if this is something that I would get. I just recently got the new MacBook, right? And the one that I had before that, it came with the brick charger, that you can use that alone. And it also came with that extension cord, which is just like the rubber kind that makes your charger way longer. It adds like a couple feet to it. But yeah, this new one only came with the MagSafe charger, that has like the I don't even know, like the beaded loop or whatever it is that they call it. So it's not rubber, like it's kind of like a fabric, that wraps it up. But I kept like the old extension cord because it's compatible, and like if I want to make it longer, then it's perfect. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, did you say that this one is for the laptops or for like any USB-C device?
I think it's any USB-C device, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've charged many a device on my little brick, and they're not always Apple products. So I guess it's whatever is USB-C. You can really plug it in there. Yeah. And get a little more wattage in there. So, something to be excited about, I guess. But I just thought it was funny that they got caught. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. I found the article on 9 to 5 because I just wanted to see. They had like the side by side, like, size comparisons too. But I don't even know if these are from Apple. Maybe like older chargers, but okay. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And, this was something else that I thought was funny. So, I think last week we talked about the mayor of Miami being really into crypto and Bitcoin.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We just had the Bitcoin conference in Miami. I don't know why I said we, because I'm not. I don't live in Miami. I don't know why I said we.
It.
Yeah. Miami had the Bitcoin conference, and the mayor that we talked about last week, which in case you missed it, we talked about how he is obviously a huge crypto head. He takes his salary in Bitcoin, or he was taking a little bit of it. I don't remember. I got a couple mayors mixed up last week for sure. But anyway, he's getting paid in some capacity in Bitcoin for being mayor. Yeah. And this weekend or last weekend at the Bitcoin conference, they unveiled this 11-foot 3,000 pound something. Damn. Like a bull sculpture that it looks like the bull on Wall Street that everybody knows about, but it looks like super futuristic and robotic, and it looks pretty sick, honestly. A lot of people are kind of mad about it, but I don't know. I think it looks pretty sick, to be honest, and I think it kind of is paving the way for how open and cool Miami is to crypto. I mean, they want to be the capital of crypto one day, which a lot of people are saying Miami is up and coming for the tech industry. I guess the lack of income tax kind of is a big, what's the word, magnet for it. Also, pretty solid weather. It's always sunny all the time. Is it like a swampy sort of area? Yeah, but it's still sunny and nice. It's Miami, obviously. Yeah. But I think it is funny. Like I don't know. I feel like Miami's going to be underwater in a few years. By the time crypto is really at this point, Miami's going to be underwater. So hopefully this isn't a metaphor for their future,
I know. Yeah. I mean, and also like there is the Miami race, like Formula One. Is the first Miami race is going to be this year. I don't know how long that their contract goes for, but it is a city that's
Until
going
it
to be
floods.
getting until the floods. Probably, but I don't even know. Like it's a city that's been getting a lot of visibility because of obviously Bitcoin. I think that it has been sort of like a Bitcoin hub to an extent, maybe not to what it is or in what people want it to be. But yeah, now, you're going to have like huge crowds flooding into the city metaphorically,
Yep.
not flooding it literally, but because of the race, because I mean, that usually, from what I've seen on those race weekends, it's like a couple million people that come to visit, like a million and a half or something insane just for the race. So we'll see. I mean, it's still, like like I guess it's a good thing. It will drive a lot of traffic into the city and create like it will boost like the local economy or whatever. But I think in terms of like of Bitcoin, it's cool that they have like this conference now, which is, I'm assuming, the first of many that is going to be held there. So
Well, it's not the first, but it was the biggest one this year. There were 25,000
okay, gotcha.
people this time.
Oh wow.
Compared to last year, I don't remember what the numbers were, but this
Yeah.
was a substantial jump for sure. So, I mean, somebody was able to afford to rent out the Versace Palace for
Hey.
like an after party or whatever. So they had like swimmers there and people hand rolling cigars, and I guess it was a whole thing. I'm talking like I was there. I wasn't there. I'm just saying like I'm trying to paint a picture from the article that I read. So I wasn't
Right.
there. I promise. But
Maybe it was one of the whales. The guys who have, I don't even know how many coins that
Yeah.
they're like, I don't know, like they have hundreds of millions, if not billions. But
yeah.
yeah, that sounds bougie.
Quite bougie, I would say. Yes.
Versace.
We'll be there next year though. We'll do
Yeah.
we'll do some field work for the show, and we'll get some. I don't know. I don't know. What do you get there? Like, what's the point of going? Honestly, now that I think about it, like, what are you getting? You're listening to talks. Obviously, like any other convention, you listen to people talk. Because I know that Kathy Wood was there. What's her name? Kathy Woods or Wood? I don't really remember. But
I don't know if I know who that is.
oh, she's a big like spokesperson on crypto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's up there, like she's like the Warren Buffett of crypto, I would feel like.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, she was probably like really involved in like some huge hedge fund, and maybe still is, who knows, but she's very, very pro crypto, and she is always talking about it all the time.
Yeah.
I guess she was there, and then like Serena Williams was there. Who else? There were a lot of like big people speaking, and a lot, like I mean, those are athletes, and they had some people, I guess, who are quote unquote celebrities, but they also had people who are, I don't know, really financially educated that were also speaking. So it just seemed like all around pro crypto. So like, I mean, other than the speaking part of it, like I wonder like what really people were getting out of it. I could see small startups being there and like having little tents and be like, hey, like here's a sticker, but like other than that, I'm really trying to picture like what would you get from going,
Yeah, that's a good question because I've been to a developers conference before, like I think it was like a Google conference or a Google sponsored conference a couple years ago here in Orlando. And yeah, you go from like, talk to talk, and you have like these experts that are, going in depth about, I don't know, their projects or a particular technology, that they're focusing on. But I wonder like if that's kind of the idea of something like, Bitcoin, or if they have like, I don't know, vendors, like, like a big, like, a showroom kind of thing where you, like you said, you have like tents or, these little stations, and then you have people like trying to pitch ideas or, or a startup, trying to like get some exposure, get some funding or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I wish I had gone to know what they're talking about over there. Like, is that the room where things happen?
Right. Yeah, we'll at least send you next year for sure. The Tech Heads Patreon fund will go to your ticket. So, and then you'll probably have to get an NFT for entry, whatever the hell you have to do. But
right.
Yeah, I kind of picture it. It's kind of like MegaCon or Comic-Con, but for crypto people. So probably the same vibe. Like, you just go for the community and you have fun, and like if you get anything extra out of it, then that's great. So I don't know. Maybe that's all it was. Worth going, maybe. Who knows? It would have been cool to see that bull in. I mean, it's still there. I guess it's going to be there permanently. So it would be cool to see that in person one day. And if you end up going to the Formula One race for whatever reason, I know it's a little pricey, right? Isn't it like thousands and thousands of dollars?
Yeah. It's funny because I got in touch with like their ticketing folks, or, like way back in the day, maybe 6 months ago, if not longer. And because I just wanted to get more information about how the process was going to work, so I could, put it on my calendar whenever like the tickets went on sale. And I immediately got back, that for like a paddock ticket, which is like sort of VIP, was already in the thousands way back then. So I was like, okay, well, I guess obviously, I'm not looking for anything VIP. It was just going to be GA. So I got an email like 2 weeks ago that said, well, here's your window if you want to order GA tickets. Okay, great. So, I logged on at the time. Still like, I don't know, $1,500, $2,000 for a general admissions ticket. I was like, you're insane. No thanks. I looked because the thing is, there are going to be 3 races.
NASCAR.
Yeah, starting next year, there will be 3 races in America. Miami, Austin, Texas, because that one has been running for a while now. And they just added Vegas to the calendar, which is going to start next year.
Good choice.
Yeah, it should be, really fun. But honestly, like if I were to go to an in-person race, I don't even know. I mean, the Miami one would be super convenient because it's not that far from my house. I wouldn't have to like fly in and rent a car or whatever. I probably just have to find accommodations because, it's the race weekend from Saturday to Sunday. But yeah, I mean, it's just so expensive. So I don't know. I think it might get even more expensive as the years go on. But if I were to spend that kind of money, I would probably like to go to like a different race. Like there's some European circuits that are beautiful. Like the one in Austria, you can see, like the landscape behind. The track is like amazing. I bet the weather is really nice too. So yeah, it's just I feel like it's way too much. So I'll probably just be watching from the comfort of my house. Because then I actually get to see the action. I mean, if you think about it, and someone that I think I even read a Reddit post of someone that went to an in-person race, and he said, yeah, no, I mean, it was cool to go and everything, but it's so expensive, so crowded, and sometimes you have to park your car at a lot that's like 3-4 miles away from the track, and they don't have transportation to get you from one place to the other. I was like, oh, that sounds like a hassle. So at home, I get to do my own thing. And once it's done, I get to, get on to the next thing I want to do. I get to watch everything. You're not seated at a specific spot that, you're missing all the action across the track. So yeah, I think I'll definitely make it happen one day for sure. Cause I'm a huge fan, but this is not the year.
Yeah. Well, if it's anything like the level in Hitman where he has to assassinate one of the drivers and the owner of the company or whatever at the Formula One race in Miami, terrible seats. There, you can't see anything except the finish line. So you're probably going to just be better off saving your money. Honestly, it might be better even if the ticket was, a little more expensive or whatever somewhere else, like Austria, for instance. It would probably be way more worth it. Yeah, because you would have a much better backdrop. You can kind of enjoy the race more because you'll be able to see it, and
Yeah.
you're already on vacation, so it's like that could have
Right.
been accounted for in your savings for your whole trip. So like you know you're going to spend that kind of money, but if you're staying a couple hours away from home, it's like, God, that's so much money. But if you're a quarter away across the world,
Right.
in a beautiful country, it's like it's warranted to spend that kind of money, in my opinion. So I don't know. Maybe one day a big trip will be in your grasp, and you'll be able to do a whole Formula One thing on top of
Yeah.
it. So
No, yeah, for sure.
oh God, that'd be an amazing trip. Yeah.
I know. I'll probably be wearing like my GoPro for the whole weekend, just recording the whole thing, so I could share that experience, or like rewatch it later on. But
Or the
yeah,
Snapchat glasses. Have you
Oh.
those old things? Yeah. Oh, Ray-Ban does it now. Ray-Ban has
Really?
their own camera glasses, like sunglasses.
Oh, hey, that'd be fun. I just think that, it's not really something that I've been like actively planning for or saving, because it's still, it's quite expensive. I wish I had gone, like a couple of years ago, when like even going to Austin, it was very feasible. Like the tickets were maybe like $300, $400. It's still expensive, but you can't find that anymore. So obviously, like now the sport itself has gotten a lot more exposure, because of like the Netflix series, and just how, like because of last year, the season was very hectic, like there was so much action going on at every single race, with the title race and all that. So it's everyone wants a piece of it, and I'm just one of like the millions of people who are, big fans and want to go watch it. But one day I'll make it happen for sure.
Well, I hope we're still potting by then.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I'll be
You'll
we'll
have to
be
tell us
putting
all
it on
about it.
Patreon.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So this one's not super important, but I thought it was still kind of cool. It ties YouTube and GitHub together. So
Okay.
so I'm sure you go on YouTube quite a bit, just like me. The comment spam has actually gotten like out of hand lately. It's just every person I go to watch, I go read through the comments, and like the majority of them are just those stupid spam bots where, they're saying like, oh, like click on me and then you can join the Telegram group and, whatever. And stupid people are like, oh, no way, let me click on it. And then it's, some sort of huge scam.
Yeah.
Because, they're impersonating the channel that they're commenting on. So YouTube is kind of trying to crack down a lot more. I guess they've already done it, but I guess in the final quarter of 2021 alone, they got rid of 950 million
Wow.
spam comments, and the majority of those were with like automation and technology, but they also have real life people moderating these comments, so they get rid of them as well. But I mean,
Damn.
even with that effort alone, like you're still seeing them more than ever before. So I saw this article where it mentions this GitHub repo that any YouTuber can use, and I guess MKBHD and Jacksepticeye, they've used it. It's a YouTube spammer purge, and I guess all you do is download this repo, and it's by Theo Joe, and the repo is called YT Spammer Purge. I guess you download it, you run it, and it goes through all the comments on all of your videos and filters out, real and spammy comments, I guess, is sort of like the super simplified version of what it does. But
Yeah.
I guess there's some machine learning involved, and there's a lot under the hood for sure. But I was super, super impressed with it. I don't know how live it is, but I don't know if it's like a thing where you have to run it manually each time, or if you can get it to run every X amount of minutes or whatever to purge all the comments on your video. But I do know that YouTube is experimenting with an official sort of version of this where they can have it so only real comments display, but spammers can still comment, but they're not visible. And I guess that permission is done by the owner of the channel. So like they can choose whether or not they can have spam visible to the comments. Basically, that's like that's the experimental version. So
Gotcha.
I don't know. It's still in early works. We'll see what happens. But yeah, have you noticed, like a crazy amount of spamming, especially lately? It's insane. I guess everybody learned how to code over quarantine with like, let's make a bot. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I actually came across that same article that you're talking about. So I mean, I do check like some channels, with like on a regular basis because I have my subscriptions and whatever, but I can't say that I really noticed like all of these comments. I feel like maybe I got used to it. I just haven't noticed maybe like the sudden increase over the past couple of months or whatever, but yeah, I mean, that's a good, finally, like they're taking this seriously and they're trying to do something about it. But like you said, it seems like a problem with a difficult solution because even if you have, like the automation that can sort through which comments are real, which ones are actually automated, by bots. And then you have like the, real humans reading some of it while more comments are being posted, like it's so difficult to kind of like remedy that problem because unless they have like some sort of way of detecting whether that comment, is, I don't know, made by a bot when you're posting it. Then I feel like this is probably something that they've been aware for by a long time. But I don't know, like it just sounds like it might take a little while for them to actually find like a more permanent solution for it,
Yeah, and I don't know if these beta systems are available to every YouTuber because we're YouTubers technically. We could maybe investigate this as well and see, but I do know like the bigger YouTubers, they have access to trying this out at least and seeing how well it goes. So luckily they're addressing it. Yeah, I've personally noticed it on like a huge level. I mean, a lot of stuff I watch it's crypto based. So since it's such a new field, there's a lot of people who are vulnerable to attacks and they just don't know a lot of things. So there's these people like on almost all these videos that I watch about like technical analyses on crypto and whatnot. The majority of the comments, they start with this bracket, like as if they're coding HTML or something. It'll start with a bracket and then it'll like do this like huge paragraph and it looks like a real person is commenting it, but in reality, it's obviously a bot that just pasted this text over and over again. And it'll say like, oh, well, I made $15,000 last week through this Telegram group. Like, please join and just click here. And oh my God. And the amount of people who fall for it is probably disgusting. Like I try not to even, I try to imagine nobody falls for it. But there's those people who, like I said, are brand new to the world of crypto and they think it's easy money and all they have to do is just be a part of the right Discord group and they can make millions in, whatever. So I think it's more important than ever. Like the longer we wait to find a true solution to it, which we never will, but like a better solution than what's going on now, the less money people are going to lose every day, which I think is important, right? Like, scamming was a big thing when the internet first came out, but then we put systems in place where we can kind of filter out as much of it as we possibly can. And beyond that, it's social engineering. Like you have to like get to know a person and like take them out on a date and like Tinder swindler them and like, this whole thing. But, early internet, it was like, subscribe to this email. And then every time you get this email, you get $100 and just click on this link. It was very, very easy back in the day. So
right.
I feel like we're at that time with crypto now. So hopefully YouTube kind of jumps on it really soon and finds something set in stone to fix this whole thing. So yeah, that's all I wanted to really talk about with that. Yeah. Nice. The repo will be linked below so you guys can check it out if you are fellow YouTubers and you're over it. So
Cool. Okay, well, I found an interesting article. It's more, I think that I like the topic because I feel like, as a college graduate, I just finished school like a couple months ago. And I came across like this article that says that, more than 1 million fewer students are in college now compared to just a few years ago, like before the pandemic. So like compared to it, like it looks like in 2019, or at least the community college enrollment is down by 13% since 2019, which is a pretty big figure if you think about it. Comparing we're looking at community college figures only for now. 2019, 5.3 million, and in 2021 it was at 4.6. So not quite a million there, but a significant amount, like hundreds of thousands less. And it's interesting because I think that this is only going to go down over the next couple of years. Until, because I know that back in 2008, there was a big boost in enrollment because people were laid off from jobs. So they were going back to school, Now I feel like despite everything that's been happening, social economically, it's still going the other way. But that's because it looks like because of the movement of, people, like the big resignation, people trying to find higher paying jobs, trying to hope like maybe compensate for inflation, the higher cost of things, the higher cost of living in general. It's sort of like explains this, phenomenon right now of people not enrolling to school as much, because with a high school degree, you can find a job that kind of, pays relatively well depending on what line of work you're in. But yeah, I don't know like what this year is going to, like once the year closes or even like at the closing of this quarter. I'm sure that if I dig, hard enough, I can find like figures somewhere where it'll probably be that it indicates, just like another decline, like another period of decline, in college enrollments. But I think that this is also, sort of important to note because I come from a more of classically trained background in the sense where I chose to go to college, after high school. I saw the value in that for me, but not everyone does, see. It really depends on like the person, the personality, the line of work. I mean, we know very well that like in software development, or web development, in like a lot of technical skilled jobs, you can be self-taught, like you can buy a book, you can follow a tutorial, take some courses online that doesn't require the level of commitment that a college degree does, which is, 4 years, tens of thousands of dollars, and then some people might even leave college in a worse financial position than when they went in because you might have to take out a student loan, to be able to go to put yourself through that. So I feel like this is interesting to see how it's going to play out like in the long term because we don't know what shape, the economy is going to be like later on in the year or, next year even. But I thought that it was kind of interesting. It just shows that even though knowledge or schools are even more accessible at this day and age, we were seeing like a huge spike in college graduates up to recently, up to like 2019. I think it was just like, like an incline instead of a decline. So now, it's going the other way, but like, what is going to be like the long-term impact of that, because people are prioritizing jobs over, the college experience, or like formal training, where you have not just a diploma, but like when you go to school, other things, like you learn about other things, how to coexist to other people that have same common interests. But yeah, I think that this was kind of a it was actually a lot more than I thought, to be honest with you. And I bet like the colleges are freaking out, because it's a lot of money that they're losing, every single semester, that they see, these significant percentages of people that don't want to go to school anymore because they're working, and some of them getting paid really well without having a college degree anymore. Right. So, yeah. What do you think?
It's such a tricky subject. I mean, I am one of those people who I only have a high school degree. Like I went to college, but I didn't finish. And I mean, I luckily chose a field that was very in demand. So, tech is what a lot of people are trying to jump into, even though they have degrees in something else. Yeah. And that says a lot for the industry. Like, people are chasing the money. They go where the money goes. That's just, natural. It makes perfect sense. Like, why would somebody sacrifice 4 years of their life and thousands of dollars when they're like, let's say they're not a traditional student, maybe they are already in the workforce. They're really busy. They might even have a family that they've already started, but they want to break into a new industry. Traditionally, yeah, you would have to go back to college and do the whole thing. But luckily nowadays, higher education and other forms like trades and everything, they're all accessible online now. So I think it's a great opportunity. Like, I'm really excited for it because there's a lot of people out there who hate they hate their everyday job, and they've never had an easier entry point for them to go into something that they actually have been interested in doing, but they never really had the time or the money. So luckily, like, education in that aspect is a lot more accessible. Like, it's not as expensive to do exactly what you want to do, because there's so many different forms of the position that you might want to go for. So I think it's a really exciting time, and it's really assuring too, just because I feel like when I dropped out, it wasn't like the coolest thing ever to people. Like, some people were like, oh, hell yeah, man. Like, you're going to do great. There were some people who were like kind of worried about me, and I wasn't worried at all. I knew that I had a lot of things that I learned in school that I would be able to transfer to something else. And like, I knew I was going to find something. So, yeah. And like, yeah, a lot of those people, not to toot my own horn, but they have college degrees, and I'm happier than them. I love my job. I don't know if I'm making more than them. I might be. Who knows? I don't really, I don't want to disclose any of that. But in a lot of instances, tech does pay a lot more for, something that might even be more fun than, your everyday job that you're doing currently. So I think it's an exciting time. I think everybody has more of an opportunity to do what they want to do now versus even a couple years ago.
Yeah, I agree. I think that because it's, at least in some fields, because obviously if you want to be a doctor, let's be realistic. You can't just be self-taught, like you're going to be a butcher.
Doctors for dummies.
Doctors for dummies. Yeah, right. Just buy this $20 book and, here's your medical, your MD, title. But, but yeah, like you said, I think that the fact of the matter is, like, I think that it used to be associated where as soon as you left high school, like your path was sort of paved. You were going to go to school if you wanted to have any kind of, job that wasn't, I don't know, like something that you would be able to work when you were in high school. Like, there was always that association that in order to make more, to have a corporate job, I don't know, and it kind of, fulfill like that whole American dream thing, have a family, have a house, like you had to go to college. Like, that was just, another rite of passage that you had to check that box off. But it's really no longer the case. And the fact that, student loans have been crippling like people for so long that why would you sign up? Like, literally, I feel like for certain programs, for certain schools, when you agree that you're going to go through with that program, for 4 years, knowing that it's like $50,000 a year, you're literally just signing your name on a document that says, I agree to owe $200,000 at the end of this, this, like, these 4 years. Like, why? I mean, I just feel like it's nothing but fair that people are really questioning the value of it if they can find the value of it somewhere else, or if they have chosen that they're like, oh, okay. And like in my path, like you said, in tech, I think it's far more accessible. Again, it doesn't really transfer to other fields. There's still jobs that you do need a college degree for. Why? Because maybe you need a license, to be able to exert that position. So it's different, like it's not every single field, but like you said, in tech, you can make a very good living out of it, and you don't really need a college degree anymore. So I feel like things are clicking, and colleges are just like stuck in their ways. Still thinking that people are going to be fooled into paying tens of thousands of dollars every year for something that you can take a course online for a few $100, or you can just teach yourself and build a project, show that, and you can get like an internship or an entry-level developer job. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So
or you could spend $5s of dollars to patreon.com/techheads and learn everything you need to know to break out into the tech industry. And that's $5s of dollars. That's it. It's
seriously.
It's a small sacrifice. It's a cup of coffee a month, not even a day. You know how all those donation courses, it's a cup of coffee a day.
I know.
That brings me to that. I think it was when Michael Scott was approached by the life insurance dude, and at the end of the episode, he disclosed how much it is. He's like, it's only a cup of coffee an hour.
Oh my gosh. Seriously,
when you break it down like that, it hurts less, but then you do the math, you're like, that's not
Yikes.
good.
Yeah, right. But no, I thought that this was kind of like an interesting stat to think about. There's always so much going on, like new trends with every single thing we can think of in the world. But this is I feel like it's sort of like a movement, but a result of things that have already been happening. Because obviously, like, the pandemic was such an impactful, I think, time. It still is, COVID is not gone, but I feel like we're kind of like seeing just a bit of like a mentality shift, because of it. So it, like, in a way, it triggered people to reevaluate a lot of like what things that core, beliefs that we had even before. But yeah, I think that, good for the people that are really taking ownership of their future and not getting stuck in, being financially, like, in financial chains, because I feel like I would not be sleeping well at night if I had hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Like, I would not, understand if you own a home, because I feel like, sure, but it's an asset, with a college degree, it's not really. You can get let go at any time, and then you totally lose, the value of it. Sure, you can get another job, but it's not an asset, so I guess that's like my 2 cents on that.
And it is really interesting to hear that perspective from somebody who has 2 bachelor's degrees. So a lot of people that I have encountered in my life, not people I necessarily talk to on a regular basis, because I don't really vibe with this whole viewpoint, but they seem to feel like they have this like royalty status for having a degree. They're like, oh, well, I have my degree. I'm just getting my career started, or I'm looking to get it started. And like, I don't know, it's like a really nasty thing to hear, that like they feel that this piece of paper is privilege for them to do whatever they want, and that they're better than people who didn't go for the degree. Like, I don't know, there's hundreds of different scenarios in which people maybe wanted to go but they couldn't, for financial reasons, situational, anything. Like I said, hundreds of different reasons why. And I don't know, it's kind of like the Monopoly situation where people who seem to win in Monopoly, they tend to feel like they won fair and square, when in reality it's essentially the game of life. Like, if you lost, you just feel like, oh, you weren't dealt the correct cards, you didn't roll the dice well, like whatever, like that's just life. But it does seem that when people do win, and this isn't even just Monopoly, that's just a metaphor, but when people do win in something, they automatically assume that it's because they deserved it and that they worked hard, and that isn't technically always the case. Like, I mean, graduating is hard. I'm not saying that graduating and getting your degree is easy, but the steps in which it took to actually get to even starting a program at a university, there's a lot before that. Like, you had to have been in some sort of, education system, K through 12. That's something we already take for granted. A lot of people haven't even had that. So
right. Yeah.
It's a tricky thing. And this is the topic I avoid at Thanksgiving. So
yeah, it's not as bad as, politics and religion, but hey, it's still, quite dicey. I mean, honestly, like you said, and I'm not trying to like bash on anybody, because I feel like it would be a bit hypocritical knowing that I do have, 2 degrees. But I'll be honest, like after my first degree, it was a huge slap in the face after spending like 5 years in school and then leaving and then knowing that I was struggling to get a job. Because there is that mindset that you're like, okay, I played by the rules. I finished my degree. Here I am, like early to mid 20s. Where's the job? Like, where is it? You guys told me that after high school I had to go to college. Okay, so where's the job? And it's a huge wake up call, like when you see how things really are. So it's really not about like the diploma getting you, in the door. Like, you really have to chase the opportunities. I chose to go back, after the boot camp to get my college degree, but there were a lot of this, like it was because there were things that, like you said, I had already done before. If I had to start, I was, 27 when I finished the boot camp. If I had to start a degree from scratch, for like 4 years to then get my CS degree, I probably wouldn't have done it. I did it because I already had a degree. I knew it was going to be 2 years. I would be able to fund it myself. I didn't have to rely on a loan or anything like that. So, it is a different like circumstance, and I am grateful, but I also wanted to prove something to myself. I felt like I was going to benefit a lot from that opportunity. But I know people who do even way better than I do, like whether, professionally or financially, and they didn't do anything that I did. It was just like my choice, my what I thought that it would work for me as a person. But it kind of goes back to, this is a decision that some people are, seeing that based on what they're or what they want out of their lives, it just doesn't fit in the plan, So I feel like you can't blame them. It really, it's based on circumstance, some opportunities. And obviously, like, I mean, if you're going to have a parent, or like your family is going to pay for you to go to a bomb ass, school for you to party for 4 years and then you get a diploma at the end, why would you say no to that? That just sounds too easy and fun,
Yeah, no,
if
totally.
You have
I'm
to pay,
not ragging that at all.
No,
like,
yeah. If you have to pay for it yourself, that's a whole other situation,
right.
So there you go. I feel like it's like it really depends on the person's like background, their situation at the time. But you really can't blame someone for wanting to make money. I mean, you can't. So if you're going to choose between, making money or sticking in school and then finding out that it was a waste of time, I mean, I feel like the choice is easy.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, that was an awesome talk. So smoothly transitioning on into recommendations. This is more of this isn't exactly a thing. Like, this is more of a skill in a way. So have you've heard of bookmarklets, right? In different browsers, so you can basically favorite a script and then have it run on the browser, like whatever website you're on. You can just click on it and it'll run a script.
I've never heard of that. What?
I'm glad you said that, because I hadn't heard of it either. So our senior dev, he made this script on it was in JavaScript, but it's like an internal sort of tool that is really handy for us. It essentially clicks a lot of buttons for us on the web page at the same time. Like, that's the simplest way I can put it. So he could have gone a bunch of different routes to have this actually work for us. And I don't know, it sounds really complicated when you put it at that. Like, it's an internal tool. We have to like click on this button somewhere to make it click on all the other buttons on the web page. But he took a really simple approach, and I have so much mad respect for it. So he decided to do a bookmarklet, and all he did was send us like a one-liner in JavaScript, and then he just said, "Oh, just create a bookmark in your browser of choice, like Chrome. Like, just go to add a bookmark, and then in the URL, you paste the JavaScript code, and that's it. And then you save it as whatever name you want. So then when you click on that bookmark, it's not actually a bookmark. It's basically telling the browser to run that JavaScript." And then it'll do it'll do the task on whatever page you're on if it applies. Like, I mean, if it's going to grab like very specific IDs on the page and they don't exist, it's probably because you're on the wrong page and it's a very specific automation tool. But I mean, the sky's the limit on that. Yeah,
I was gonna say
it's
what?
crazy. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
you're
really
gonna have
easy.
to show me. Yeah, because okay, so it's not like he has the script and like stored in a URL. Like, you literally run the command on the browser, like on the address bar.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So if I could paint a picture for you. So if you go to Chrome and then you go to like add a new bookmark, you can you don't have to be on the page that you want to bookmark it. You can put in whatever URL you want, right?
Yeah. Right.
So instead of putting a URL, you put JavaScript : and then you paste the code in that field.
Oh.
And then you just name it like, I don't know, automation tool number 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then while you're on that page, you click on that bookmark at the top of the browser, and then it'll run the code.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Bookmarklets.
Oh, that sounds so cool. Wow, I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds really cool. I love doing anything on the browser. That's why, like with our Slack bot, I started with Selenium, like scanning the HTML elements and all that. But that sounds really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
genius!
I love that.
It's so simple. Like there's no setup. You literally just copy and paste the code. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Damn, nice. Yeah, that definitely like outdoes my recommendation.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I doubt it. What's yours?
Okay, so I was watching a video about a guy that applied to like 1,000 jobs because he kind of wanted to like disprove that people were complaining about the job market currently. I feel like this kind of like ties into what we just talked about, like colleges and jobs or whatever. But yeah, so this guy went ahead and he applied to 1,000 jobs, 1,003, I think, even by the end of the whole thing. And he referenced a book that I read when I was in high school called Freakonomics. I don't know if you ever read it, but it's really good. So I just wanted to, kind of like give it a shout out here. That's my recommendation. But it was because he wanted to see if by having different names, and different credentials on each resume. So like he had, I think he applied as like 2 males, because this is a dude, but he had a more African-American sounding name and then another one that was more, I don't know, like Chad sounding name. And, he was hoping to get, to kind of like compare like the return rates, on the applications. And yeah, that he referenced this book, Freakonomics, and I remembered how good the book was. Obviously, it was only one of the chapters where it said where they discussed, like the names with socioeconomic status and how it I don't know to what certain degree it still impacts, like your ability, like not your ability. You can apply to any job you want, but how much of a return you get, because unfortunately people still have biases, so you don't know really if you change your name, if you're going to get a return. If you don't, then you're not. But yeah, this book was so brilliant back in the day. I don't know if they came out with like a second edition, but yeah, it was, I just wanted to to plug it because I remember that it was it brings up like some really interesting pop culture, / economics concepts. The naming one was one of them, but there were there were a bunch of other interesting chapters that I really recommend it. It's a super fast read and a really cool book.
Yeah, I remember that book. I had to read it for economics in high school.
Yeah.
But they have a podcast, so I don't think they really update the book too much. There's a weekly podcast on for economics. It's the same people.
You're right. Yeah, I think I listened to an episode a couple months ago, or some of the episode. I'm not even gonna say I listened to the whole thing, but yeah, the book was pretty cool. And like I said, it's honestly like it's a weekend read. Like it just goes by. It's such a fast kind of book, but it's fast because it's it's good. It kind of like makes you think about how things have worked for as long as whatever they laid out on the book. But yeah, super interesting. So I just wanted that was the best recommendation I think I could come up with for this week. Oh, actually, I do have another one. Did you update your VS Code to the latest release 1.66? I did it today, and I just found out that one of the under release notes, I was reading it because I never do. When you open a file, like you go to the File Explorer tab off to the the top left, and you know how like you have tabs, like there's let me open up one here. So if I open my folder, okay, so you have like the name of your folder, and then you have the outline tab and the timeline tab. Right. I had never used any of these, but apparently the timeline tab, it shows like the recent commits. It will show side by side, your like the diff, the between two files. And I thought that was really cool because I feel like every time I want to see that, I always open up my GitHub desktop app to look at the history, the commit history on that, or on GitHub itself. So I'm like, okay, awesome. I am definitely gonna start using this more because I feel like VS Code just gets better and better. I mean, it's so nice. I feel like every time I have to use it, there's like an extension I could try. Like that one time we used Live Share, that was really cool.
Yeah, I used it at work recently. I was like, oh, we should try this out. So
nice.
it was a good find. Yeah, what you just mentioned, I'm pretty sure is that new or?
I thought it was. Let me open.
I feel like I've seen that so many times in VS Code. I don't know. I might be thinking of.
Okay. So apparently it says that. Okay, local history of files is now available in the timeline view. Depending on the configure settings, every time you save an editor, a new entry is added to the list. So, okay, so this is just like, I guess for the local history, if you change it locally, not just remotely, because that's probably something they already had.
Right,
right. But yeah, I guess they also had terminal find improvements. That was another one where if you do a search for like a key term on the terminal, like you're trying to sift through like that huge output list, you can't. They draw a little box around the term now, so it's easier for you to like find it. And I think I was reading that like Python did that recently too. So I'm wondering if this they're kind of like following suit because Python used to be really. Kind of like they improved like their error logs, like when you get an error at the on the terminal. I think that they did that recently too. So yeah, VS Code, I love it.
Yeah, very good. Okay, I actually didn't know that. I will probably use that on Monday at work.
Yeah,
it's funny because like these things usually are so exciting, like these recommendations that we do, and they usually pertain to work. But then I'm like, I don't know, I get excited. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to use that. And I'm like, wait, I'm going to be working when I use that. So am I that excited?
Right.
Most of these things they do speed up work and they make it a lot easier. So yeah, I am genuinely excited for it. So I will make sure that VS Code is updated on Monday and I will get cracking on it and see what's going on. Because looking back, like even this week, there were a few times where I was like, damn, I really wish I had that set up right now.
Yeah,
it is just a lot of work to go like back into GitHub or SVN and like see the log and all that sort of stuff. But just like local little changes like that, instead of doing like Command Z, Command Z, Command Z to see like what it was like before. It would be nice to really have it in that view as well. So yeah, I will check that out on Monday.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like I've been using VS Code for the longest time, so it just, I guess it asked for the update, and I never really pay it. Like I said, I never really pay attention to these things, but I was just talking to a coworker too, like about which editor we should use for like a Python little automation project we're gonna try to build. And I was like, honestly, I use VS Code, but we could get an IDE, you know, if we can find like a free one, because I don't know if we have like the JetBrains license in our team. We have like, because we use Microsoft Visual Studio, you know, for C# and .NET. But PyCharm is like the IDE that I've used, you know, for Python development. I just feel like sometimes, I mean, for some of the scripts that I've written, VS Code was perfectly fine. As long as you have Python installed, the thing will run, you know? So yeah, I guess that's kind of, it shows how, you know, like it's definitely like one of the best text, like code editors out there, in my opinion. It's so lightweight. It's not, sometimes you don't need an IDE. All you need is like a code editor, you know? So.
Oh geez. What's the one? It's like kind of ugly. Geez, what's it called?
Atom?
It's no,
Sublime?
no. It's older. It's older than those.
Is it Dreamweaver? I don't know.
Not Dreamweaver. It's actually uglier, I think.
Notepad.
God, I forget what it's called. Not Notepad. It's a little cuter than Notepad. Anyway, there's some people on my team that use this IDE, boy. I tried using it when I first started working because I was like, oh, everybody uses it. And then I started talking to other people. They're like, no, use VS Code like you normally would, you fool. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because like the people who were training me, they were using this upgraded Notepad. I was like, what the hell is this?
Damn, yeah. I don't like it.
No shade though. I love everybody on the team using it. So it's great. Damn, I wish I could remember what it's called, but it's like, it's green, like the icon for it is green, and
it's not Atom.
No. It's like old school.
Damn. Now I'm gonna be curious.
You would know it. Oh God. Okay. Future me, fast forward if you have to. We have to look it up.
Text.
Oh wait. Okay, I'm an idiot. I found it. Okay. So, did you say Notepad or Notepad++?
Notepad++.
It's Notepad++.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because I feel like in my team, I've seen people using that one too, like quite frequently. I don't like it either. I really don't.
Yeah, I almost quit on the spot. I was like, do I have to use this? They're like, no.
Right?
You could do whatever you want. I was like, oh, thank the Lord.
Seriously, yeah. VS Code is the best.
Yeah. I mean, you know, no shade to any of the other big ones like Vim, Atom, Sublime, PyCharm, like all the other ones, whatever. But yeah, VS Code all the way for sure for me. All right. Well, if you made it this far, we really appreciate it. That was super fun. Great show. Anna will not be joining us for the next couple, I think. I think we're going to have a guest slot kind of going in the show for those. So be excited for those. Anna, we'll miss you because we love you and we have so much fun.
I'll be back.
She'll be back. She's not going anywhere. She's just she's busy, you know. So we gotta the show must go on. So we have to find some guest co-hosts. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. I'm excited to see who it is, and I'm excited for you guys to listen to those. So patreon.com/techheads, Twitter /techheads, Gmail/techheads, YouTube /techheads. Feel free to share the show. Feel free to leave a review. Feel free to gently smash the like buttons, all that sort of stuff. So, thank you guys for listening, and we will I will see you next week. Anna will see you in a few weeks. I don't remember the number, but yeah, she'll be back. So it's not goodbye. It's see you later.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.